Good afternoon and welcome to ANM News. This is Abhijit Nandi Mazumdar and we are in the thick of the coronavirus battle. More than the battle against the disease, what we are fighting against is a grim economic crisis. The whole world is staring at an economic crisis, and now things have come to such a stand that United States President is pushing for an easing of lockdown, opening up situations so that at least people can go back to work, because more or less is certain that coronavirus is here to stay. It's not a very deadly disease and the mortality rate is very, very low. So in such a circumstances, people can go out to work. That's a wider feeling. I mean, that's kind of a very debatable feeling that's emanating from various corners of the world. And to discuss about the economics of it and whether we will be able to tide over the crisis, which is rated as one of the worst in recent times, I have with me the Don of world tea industry, Mr. Nirmal Sethia. He is the chairman of Newsbeat Tea. He is based out of London and he needs no introduction at all. He's one of British Indian industrialist, big time industrialists who have seen everything, and he's got over more than 2,000 collections of teapots dating back to 10th century BC. Sethia has seen it all in his life as he set up the industry, as he worked around the industry globally, not only in UK, not only in India, but across the globe. So welcome to ANM News, Mr. Sethia, and a very good morning to you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you.
Sir, we are staring at a very, very bad economic situation. And Prime Minister of India had yesterday in his address to the nation has spoken about a package, but then he also mentioned that it is there to stay. President Trump has also mentioned it's there to stay, and Boris Johnson of UK has also mentioned that we have to live with it. So how bad is the crisis at the moment, and how soon, and what is your prescription of getting out of this crisis?
You see, Sri Aurobindo from Bengal, the mother once has, the world supramental consciousness has descended upon the world atmosphere. The world is preparing for a greater change. It is left to mankind to decide whether they will collaborate and cooperate towards this change or not. If they do not, the powers of crashing circumstances will change them. First of all, I must tell you that whatever I'm saying is my personal opinion. My knowledge is very limited. So there will be, and naturally, there will be a lot of contradiction. There are a lot of optimistic people. This world has been living on a false hope, in my opinion, because the norm, this is Kali Yuga also. As a Hindu, I would say we had Satyuga, we had Treta, Dwapar, and Kali Yuga. The universal cycle is, the life cycle is all in circle. And I personally believe that divinity has put this bug. This is not, nothing is a creation of men. No money, no life, because even life belongs to God. This bug has been created because even the gods have got tired the way we human beings are behaving in the manner. There is nothing but greed, falsehood, lies, deceit, betrayal. So the God also created the devil if he has put himself in you and in us. This world is now, sooner or later, will have to realize that they are not gods. Because what happens if you have a little money, you suddenly start believing you're so powerful. If you're in power, politics, you start believing that you are God. You have the power of making and breaking the futures of individual, or creating the futures of the individual. The concept of karma has been forgotten. So now God has left the Lord of karmas free. Those who are good, protect them. Those who are bad, punish them. Now this punishment could be from the past life or from this life. So I personally believe a systematic damage is being done for us to continuously to remember the honorability. Dwapar, in my opinion, Dwapar is coming back. Okay, we are the end of practically the Kali Yuga, because lots of people who have lost their families, lots of people when they have lost their money, they would suddenly realize that wealth belongs to divine. We are not the possessors, we are only trustees. So we better act as decent trustees to live happily and to respect and care for our loved one, and not to live a false life which we have been living. My opinion, personal opinion, this correction of what has happened already and what it may take 50 years. It will pass the lifetime of Mr. Modi, Mr. Trump, many, and mine, and of many people. We have to look at our next generation. We have to start reading our scriptures more appropriately and understanding that humbleness pays, wealth is not yours, don't try to become a possession, as a possessive person, that it is mine. Don't try to portray what you are not. Try to be a decent human being, and let's leave it to the God. So I see a long time. The long time could run into 40, 50, 60, 100 years even. It's a global disaster. Can you imagine? That one little virus has brought the entire world to its knees. Now, do you think that any human being can do this? No. No human being has the power or the capacity. We're making excuses. Oh, America can say China has done, and China says America has done. Who has done it? We don't know. How we are created, except for the scriptures, no medical science has been able to define exactly. Look, this is the wonder and the miracle and the marvel of the divinity, and we better learn to live with it.
Great. So, sir, here what I wanted to ask you is, when you do this, when we are looking at an economic situation, I mean, that we have had the Nobel laureates speaking on a certain economic theory. We have had certain other financial wizards speaking on a certain economical school of thought. I mean, they have their own versions to the economic bailout of each and every country. But what is the basic formula that you have gone through? You're one of those industrialists who have built up an empire. So what is the basic structure that needs to be done, speaking, as an individual? What is the basic structure that needs to be adopted now to ensure that the bridge between the rich and the poor in a country like India, or in a country like a developing country, can be gapped, that bridge can be shortened?
See, there's a saying in India, we say, Munde Munde Matir Bhinna. That many heads, that many opinions. Whether it's Nobel laureates, or it's an uneducated person like me, or it's the professors of economy, they all express their own mind and their own opinion. Now, in my opinion, the only truth is surrender to divine will. You can't even breathe with your will. You're gone when the time is over. We have to learn to be prepared every time as we are born to die one day. The journey between birth and death will be governed by your karmas and the way you think. By bluffing, by cheating, by falsification, you can't become rich. And even if you did become rich, that gap between the rich and poor, you try to escape a cycle, which is a natural cycle, but ultimately it will catch up somewhere. Now, you see, like everybody else, I have seen enough. Now, I've come to an age, I've crossed 70, and once you have crossed 70, then you sit back and start looking at your life. I've gone through many hells. Many times the divinity decided to dip me into that hot soup, and I came out of it. I'm okay. But most important is I'm peaceful. I have no jealousy, and I mean it. I have no jealousy from no one. I have no big money. I am a very middle class individual. I owe nothing to nobody. I owe no money to the banks, no money to the public, and I owe everything to God. So I try where I have failed when I was young by trying something good for the community, for the humanity, and for the world at large, where I can. But my limitations are very limited because my life is not even a fraction of a drop in the ocean. Because I still remember reading once, it was Admiral Hay, he had given a plaque to Jimmy Carter, the President of America, saying, "Oh Lord, thy sea is so vast and thou boat so small." So we are very insignificant individuals. So let us try and stay on the ground, on the earth, and not try to fly too high. Just let your karmas be good. Don't try and worry about the rest of the world when you don't know who you are. Let's try and understand who we are first. And I think then peace will come. And this is again a very infectious thing, peace from one to the next to the next. So a new society has to be created. A new order has to come. And that's the only way. Then wealth belongs to divine. We are not possessors. We are only trustees. So let the divinity decide who is worthy of how much, not me. Otherwise, all these professor of economy, why should they be in Harvard? And how come Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and so many billionaires, they have become where they are? But then we have also seen people like Saddam Hussein, people like Gaddafi. They became billionaires, and what happened? What was their end? Horrible end. But then there were noble, good people also, because of their past lives' karmas. We have Bahadur Shah Zafar, when he has already written, "Kitna hai bad naseeb Zafar, dafn ke liye, do gad zameen bhi na mili, guhe yaar mein." The Emperor of India had to die in Burma, and he requested for the burial of his burial in his family burial ground, and that was declined also. So these things are totally beyond our control. Let's not be pretentious, realist. Let's try and care for our community, our nation, and the rest of the world, because ultimately we are one community, the whole world. The bad will get punished by themselves. We don't have to find the punishment for them. But it will take time, the change. These are all my opinion. I'm sure lots of people are going to laugh at me because not being educated and still at 70 plus, and I'm sitting here and talking to you. It's a miracle. So I'm experiencing these miracles every second, every moment of my life. And I'm very grateful to God, the way I'm living. And I'm very thankful to my father, to my mother, and to all of the community, and to the whole of the world. So many good people have helped me to grow. So many people punished me. And I was very upset that it was betrayal, thieving, disgraceful. But every accident that happened, I have learned something out of that accident. It was a lesson from the God. That's what I have to learn. And I think this is what's going to happen. So let's not become impatient. let's remain calm, patient, take life as it comes, and try to be honest and good.
So you are advocating calm. Let's take every day. Let's take every day as it comes, and more or less you're leaving it up to a divine intervention in the sense that if there's no what's going to happen in future. Nobody can say, but you have to remain calm and take it as it comes. One last thing that I want to know, Mr. Shetia, is do you propagate, do you believe that we should come out of the current scenario in the sense that everybody, the entire world is in a lockdown state, and slowly they're easing, they're withdrawing, graded withdrawal of the lockdowns are taking place all over in various countries. So do you think that people now should come out of their homes and go to work slowly and slowly, abiding by the safety precautions and safety measures, or this lockdown should continue? I want your personal honest opinion.
You see, life is up and down. You see the ECG machine. The heartbeat goes up and down. When it becomes a straight line, that means we are gone. So don't expect miracles. This up and down will happen. It is discipline which is most important, hygiene which is most important, trying to keep surrounding clear and clean is very important, because the germs and the bacteria grows when the negativity is there for them to, or the things, the circumstances are there for them to grow. So we have to, you have to work. Look, only knowledge doesn't help. Knowledge, everybody goes to the school and gets the knowledge. But God has given us brain, because mind is not in our body. That brain registers, and the brain has a negative button also. So brain can press the negative button to remove what the brain doesn't want to register. And brain can register what is positive, what we have to register. So let's apply not only knowledge, apply intelligence, but beyond knowledge and intelligence, let's apply common sense. Let's invoke the intuitive in us to judge what is right and what is wrong individually. Circumstantial differences could be there. My circumstances could be different. My location could be different. Your circumstances could be different. Your location could be different. Our working habits, our eating habits, or everything has to change. So it's just a warning to search the change, what adopt it, what suits individual. That's how I think. Now I'm confined for last 2 months in my house. So I have not even come out of the boundaries of my house, because I have 2 little grandchildren. They are my angels. God has given them to me as a responsible grandfather to protect them. So I've decided I'm happy here. There are facilities available, and I utilize those facilities of telephones and requesting people to deliver the food. And I'm quite happy. In fact, I tell you, I've never had better years in my life than the last 2 months. This is the first time since I have picked up my senses that for 2 months I have not left the boundary of my house. And I'm so happy. I'm enjoying my grandchildren. I'm with my son, with my daughter-in-law, and with some staff who are very loyal. They're wonderful people. They're very kind, helping us. How the time passes, I don't even know. So I have tried to create my own circumstances. So individuals have to learn to create their own circumstances also. But our habits have to change.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is what you are saying is something completely different from what the whole lot of other economists and so-called knowledgeable people are advocating. Yours is a very, very simple thought, which you are mentioning, which you just mentioned right now, is that self-discipline. And you build your own circumstances and then promote clean air and hygiene, and the rest, everything will be taken care of. Slowly and slowly, things will fall in place. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Setia. We really enjoyed speaking to you and getting your perspective. And we hope to see you again in near future, to be able to talk to you in near future under a much better circumstances around the world. Thank you very much, Mr. Setia.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.